Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Matt and I do like video games, and in today's video I want to talk a little bit about a rumored Xbox Developer Direct. So let's get into it. Okay guys, so as I'm recording this, the Xbox Developer Direct has not been officially confirmed. I I didn't know I could do that, honestly. I didn't know I could do that. That was weird. Like I was saying, as I am recording this, the Developer Direct has not officially been confirmed by Xbox themselves, but it is heavily rumored at this point that we will be getting an Xbox Developer Direct at some point during this month. And who knows, maybe by the time this video is out on Monday, maybe the Developer Direct gets confirmed Monday morning. Who knows? We'll see eventually. But regardless of whether or not it's confirmed by Xbox or if it's just rumors, I feel like there's reason to talk about this because I feel like Xbox really kind of set themselves up for this whole conversation last year. I mean, it was the whole beginning of this. It was the first developer direct, and they absolutely nailed it. They crushed it, right? They gave us updates on all the games coming throughout last year, and they shadow dropped Hi-Fi Rush on top of it, which was like the cherry on top of the cake, right? It was a critically acclaimed game. Everybody really loved it, myself included. And now that kind of just sets things up for seemingly every year going forward. I mean, Xbox has so many studios, so many games being worked on. You kind of feel like it's a given that we would get a developer direct once a year, early in the year, kind of like they did last year, right? I mean, it can't all just be up to the Xbox showcase every June, right? You got like 30 something studios at Xbox right now after this whole Activision thing has gone through. You got to have more than one showcase a year. It's almost imperative at this point. And with the swirling rumors of an Xbox Developer Direct later this month, I mean, we don't have too long to wait. Or we might not have too long to wait if these rumors are true. I know there's two dates that are rumored right now. One being January 25th, which I believe it was last year. And then the other one being anywhere between January 15th and January 19th. So whether it's the 25th or between the 15th and the 19th, regardless, it doesn't seem like we have long to wait if these rumors are true before we know what's going on at this showcase. And I have a lot of questions, just like I'm sure you guys have a lot of questions. I mean, what can we assume to see at this showcase? Obviously, you're going to have probably Hellblade, right? Hellblade 2 makes a lot of sense. It's supposed to release this year. It's got a lot of hype. You're looking at a game also probably maybe Avowed's there, right? I know there was a good subset of people who really weren't pleased with Avowed's latest showing, even though I was really, really enjoying what they showed the last time they showed Avowed. But I know a lot of people weren't too pleased with it, and I feel like, a developer direct would be a pretty great venue to kind of clear things up, to show the game in the light that you really, really, really want to show, fine tune things and show aspects of the game you really want to focus in on. But also games that, we kind of are speculating are coming this year. I mean, there's a rumor that South of Midnight is to release in 2024. Maybe we see South of Midnight at the Xbox Developer Direct. And there's also a rumor that Double Fine might have a game that would get shadow dropped at this year's Developer Direct, which also raises the question that if the rumors of a developer direct are true and the rumors of Double Fine being there shadow dropping a game are true, is this just the norm for Xbox now? Do you just shadow drop a game every year? And if so, how do you choose which game you shadow drop? I mean, it's a question Xbox is probably looking at internally, right? And these are all questions that hopefully we don't have to wait too much longer to have answered, because this thing could possibly be announced as soon as this week. So I'm looking forward to the announcement if there is one. But what I really want to talk about in today's video is the things I want to see from this rumored Xbox Developer Direct. Obviously, I mentioned Hellblade 2 and I mentioned Avowed, right? I really do want to see those games, especially Avowed. But Hellblade 2, I want to see what's going on. I want to see specifically what the date for this game is. Because I think by most people's measurement, last year's Developer Direct was a pretty damn good success. It showed off every single game that they had coming that year, and it gave you reason to be hyped for them. Now, obviously, some of those games didn't pan out, Redfall, but it gave you a reason to be hyped in that moment, right? Now, the one thing that was missing from that direct last year was that Forza Motorsport didn't have a release date. And my fear is you show us something like Hellblade and you don't give us a release date. Because I feel like we've seen Hellblade so much at this point. We finally got to see combat, the thing we were really, really asking for. And the one thing that would have made that so much more hype is if you saw all that combat, you saw the cinematics and everything, and then at the end of the trailer they gave you the release date, that would have made that so much more hype. But we didn't get the release date. And I've got my fingers crossed that that's their main focus for this developer direct, if, again, this thing is happening, that they show us the release date for Hellblade 2. I'm sold on Hellblade 2. I loved Hellblade 1. Hellblade 2 looks to just be bigger, more expansive, and better with a higher budget, right? I'm sold. You don't need to show me any more. I'm there day one. I just want to know, when is day one for Hellblade 2? That's my biggest question for this developer direct, quite honestly. And of course, I also want to see a date for Avowed, but I don't think it's as big of a deal as Hellblade 2. And that's not to say that I don't think that game can't stand toe-to-toe with Hellblade 2. Obsidian's kind of masters at what they do. I fully expect that game to be great because Obsidian is great. It's just that Avowed seems like it's later in the year. I don't know why, but it seems like it's later in the year. Hellblade seems like it's relatively close. I mean, just a few months ago, this was well before the Game Awards last month, I'm pretty sure Phil Spencer was interviewed and he said that Hellblade 2 was a lot closer than people think. And so when we got to the Game Awards, everybody was expecting that release date. We didn't get it. But he hasn't talked about Avowed in that same way. We saw the 2024 at the end of the trailer at the Xbox Game Showcase last year, but we don't even really have any sort of idea of when that is in 2024. Whereas Hellblade 2 seems like it's soon. Seems like it might be before spring even. So who knows? But I do want to see at least a release window for Avowed. I mean, did it get pushed into 2025? Is it coming in 2024? Is it coming, spring, summer? Is it coming fall? I don't know. But it would be nice if you could just give us some sort of timetable to look forward to, because that is really one of my most anticipated games. Not just from Xbox, but just in general for next year. And then, of course, I mentioned earlier there's the rumor of South of Midnight possibly being at the showcase. And if that's the case, then I'm ecstatic, because I've said this before in multiple videos. I've said it on podcasts before. I think Compulsion Games is probably is the most overlooked studio at Xbox. I know there's a lot of talent at Xbox Studios, and I'm not going to say that Compulsion's the most talented. I don't believe that to be the case, at least not yet. They haven't shown me that yet. But what they have shown me is they have a ridiculous amount of creativity, to the point where a game like We Happy Few, as an example, has this amazing narrative, a really, really good story, really, really good writing and everything, but the gameplay just kind of falls apart around it. And I think the biggest problem for a studio like Compulsion in the past has been they have these huge, grandiose ideas, but they don't have the proper funding to execute on the gameplay aspect of it. So they've got this great narrative, but the gameplay just it's kind of just there. It's not, for We Happy Few, it's kind of like an RPG. It's kind of not like an RPG. It's kind of like an immersive sim. It's kind of not like an immersive sim. The gameplay doesn't really have a full total identity. But I think, given the proper funding, someone like Microsoft, on a game like South of Midnight with their creativity, I have no reason to believe that the game can't be amazing. So I'm definitely hoping that we see this at the showcase. Now, I don't expect we'll see a release date for the game. That would be a shocker. That would be like the surprise of the show. Outside of if you're shadow dropping something, that would be the surprise of the show, is if they showed South of Midnight and gave a hard release date for it. Because it would be weird to go from, we don't even know a release year for this, to here's the exact date coming this year. It would be kind of wild to go from 0 to 100 like that so quick. But I'm down for it. If that's what they show, then I'm ecstatic. I mean, I think Xbox is going to have a really good year, and I feel like if that's part of it, then it's only going to make it better. And obviously, there's the rumor, like I mentioned earlier, of Double Fine possibly showing up to maybe shadow drop a game. And listen, I'm not even really gonna speculate on that because I think it's fair when you hear a rumor of an Xbox Developer Direct to set an expectation of, oh, this might be happening. But I don't think it's entirely fair to set expectations of, oh, every single developer direct that Xbox does, they need to shadow drop something, because I think that's awesome. If you want to do that, hey, Xbox, if you want to do that, I'm not going to stop you. I'm not going to complain at all. I'll be ecstatic. I'll love it. But it's kind of a weird expectation. Shadow drops don't happen often. It's not the norm, but it would be cool to see it. And if it is Double Fine, I'll be there day one. If it's anybody, I'll be there day one. If you shadow drop a game, best believe I'm going to try it out at the very, very least. But guys, leave comments down below. Let me know what you're most excited for from a possible upcoming developer direct from Xbox. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you're excited about. Leave a like if you like the video. And if you're enjoying this kind of content and you want to stay up to date with it going forward over here on the channel, the best way to do that is consider subscribing, consider ringing that notification bell, because that helps you stay up to date with everything that happens over here on the channel. And it helps promote me in the algorithm, helps push the videos out to way more people. And I always appreciate that. And with that being said, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.